And that is where we start this hour with Washington Post congressional investigation reporter Jackie Alamani. Also with us, editor-at-large for The Bulwark, Charlie Sykes. And with me at the table for the hour, New York Times editorial board member Mara Gay. But first, let's go to the former member of the January 6th Select Committee and Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff. He is also running for Senate in California. Congressman, thank you for being with us. What is your reaction to what Cheney is now saying about her former colleagues?
Well, it goes to a fundamental truth of the last 6 years, which is that Donald Trump could not have done any of the damage that he inflicted, the tearing down of our institutions, the causing Americans to distrust our election process and weakening the foundation of our system, and that is voting, but for the willing enablement of so many of her colleagues in Congress. And, you know, one of the terrible realizations of these years is just how many enablers there were and how few people of courage and conviction there were also. And, you know, gets to, I think, a fundamental truth that the historian Robert Caro once described in an interview when he said that power doesn't corrupt as much as it reveals. It doesn't always reveal us for our best, but it says a lot about who we are. Well, power revealed Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger to be people of great courage and conviction. But it also revealed that for every Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, there were literally 100 Kevin McCarthy's and Elise Stefanik's. And this is what has put our democracy in such peril.
Congressman, let's talk about this question of courage. Cheney describes a caucus that is often in fear of Donald Trump. And I want to read a particularly telling bit from CNN's reporting about the book. Quote, she recounts how a GOP colleague, who she doesn't name, told her he knew what Trump had done was impeachable, but he was afraid that voting to impeach would put his wife and new baby in danger. I absolutely understood his fear, Cheney writes, but I also thought, perhaps you need to be in another job. Congressman, you are no stranger to threats. You are no stranger to intimidation, particularly because of the stance you have taken against the ex-president. Do you share Liz Cheney's attitude on this, which is, if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen?
Absolutely. You know, you're right. This is a very dangerous trend we have seen of increasing acceptance and advocacy of political violence, I think egged on by the former president. But if you're not willing to do your job, even when it involves getting threatened, then you better find another job right now, because there are more things more important. And standing up for our Constitution and defending your responsibilities and you know, living up to your oath of office is, to me, the most important. You know, I remember speaking to Adam Kinzinger. And he was saying that people keep saying that, you know, Liz and I are so courageous. It's not that we're so courageous, but we're surrounded by cowards. And I think what we have come to learn is, while we knew, I think, inherently that courage can be contagious, what we also found during these years is so can cowardice. And because no one would speak out, no one would speak out. And there was this herd mentality, and there still is, people afraid of Donald Trump, unwilling to do the right thing when they know the right thing, because they're either in fear of their personal safety or, more often, just the pedestrian concern over whether they get to keep their job. And, you know, for those members, I would just say there are more important things than keeping your job. Being able to look at yourself in the mirror ought to be one of them. Well,
let's pick up on that thread, because there is an anecdote that is reported by CNN out of Cheney's memoir where she talks about the fact that there was resistance on the part of some Democrats to having her named to the 1-6 committee. Nancy Pelosi's staff, in Cheney's retelling, hands her a list of all of the perhaps critical things that Cheney had said about Pelosi in the past year. And Pelosi looks at the list and says, so what, why are you wasting my time, right? And so Cheney says she has admiration for Pelosi's leadership, that she agrees with Pelosi on the one thing that matters most. Your colleague Jamie Raskin has said much the same. He doesn't agree with Cheney on anything. They do agree on safeguarding democracy. Is there a cross-party coalition for democracy? What would it look like for a group of Republicans and Democrats to come together on this core issue?
Well, it would look, I think, a lot like the January 6th committee. And I love that anecdote about Nancy Pelosi because it's so classic. Nancy Pelosi, it doesn't matter what Liz may have said in the past. What matters and mattered to Nancy Pelosi is she the right person for this committee to do this work? And she clearly was. You know, but for Adam and Liz on that committee, none of these witnesses would have come forward. What made the hearing so powerful is that all the witnesses, almost all of them, were Republicans. They came forward because of Liz and Adam. And with the leadership together, Benny Thompson, we worked together, notwithstanding, deep ideological differences that each of us had with each other. I never thought I would be singing so many praises of a Cheney before, but I came to deeply respect her. And I think that was very mutual in terms of all of us on the committee. So I think there certainly is a cross-party, nonpartisan coalition devoted to our Constitution. You see a lot of Republicans out of office speaking in the same way that Liz is, and I wish there were more people in elected positions of power willing to do that as well.
Congressman Adam Schiff, as always, thank you so much for spending some time with us and getting us started.